All right, let's go over the golf course that is hosting the US Open this year. It is the Oakmont Country Club. Most recently, they hosted the US Open in 2016, where Dustin Johnson won. And I will be reviewing the 2016 leaderboard just to see if we can grab anything from the top 10 and top 20 finishers. You know, is this a power versus accuracy golf course, or is it vice versa? We'll get a good idea by reviewing that, and then maybe we can apply something to this week's field. We'll review it. I'll also be going over the golf course stats, but first, I want to talk about some giveaways that are happening on this channel. I just want you to be aware of them, because if you want to get into them, there are certain things that you need to do. So I'll go ahead and put those on the screen. The first one being a Win the Pot giveaway. I am starting it at $20, and for every one new subscriber, I'm going to add $2 to this giveaway. And a further wrinkle to that is if we reach 850 subscribers by the time I go live Tuesday night, June 10th, if we reach 850 subscribers, I'm going to change the starting amount from $20 to $50. And then I'm still adding $2 per new subscriber. So I've timestamped it at 841. That is where we are starting this giveaway from. So all we need to do is get 9 new subscribers. 9 new subscribers. And that 9 obviously turns into $18. 18 on top of 50, it'll be worth $68. If we can reach 850 subscribers by June 10th. So if you know anybody who has not yet subscribed to the channel, reach out to them, have them subscribe to the channel. And then if you want an entry into the giveaway, comment on each of my US Open videos. So any of the US Open videos from this year, comment on those. And then Tuesday, June 10th, I am doing this giveaway at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be there. If your name is called, reach out to me and I will send you that money. Another giveaway that I am doing is a SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. So if you don't have an account at SweetSpotDFS.com, go sign up. It is free. It only asks for a username and an email address. Now, with that email address, I'll grab that list. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we will do the giveaway. I'll reach out to everybody and say, hey, giveaway is going to happen next week, and then we'll run it. And 4 lucky people will either get a choice of the lifetime membership, the annual membership, or two $100 cash giveaways. So if you'd like in on this, help me out, subscribe to the channel. That gets us closer to 1,000 subscribers. And then obviously go sign up at SweetSpotDFS.com. That's how you get an entry into this giveaway. So those are all the giveaways that I am doing currently. Of course, every week I do a $5 giveaway, and every month I do a monthly giveaway. So those just require the same type of things I just mentioned. It requires participation on your end. Help me out and I will help you out. So those were the giveaways. Let's get back to the course and tournament information. How about this? Let's start out by reviewing the 2016 US Open where Dustin Johnson won. You remember this year, Dustin Johnson had that weird thing happen. The ball moved on the green. And we weren't sure if he was going to be assessed a penalty or not. There would have been a 2-stroke penalty. He ended up winning at -4. They didn't give him the penalty. So -4, he won, but he still would have won at -2. The whole conversation, I can't remember what I was listening to. I'm blanking on it right now. But I was listening to PGA Tour radio. I was listening to the superintendent talking to, John McGinnis and Brian Katrick, I think, talking about how this golf course is going to play tough. And they want the score to be around even par. So obviously, I think a lot of people already knew that they want the score to be around even par. Dustin Johnson won at -4 by hitting nearly every fairway. I joke, actually. That's not true. He didn't hit every fairway, but he hit his driver better than pretty much any other week that he had played on the PGA Tour. And that kind of propelled him to win the event. So I think right away, right from the get-go, you see Dustin Johnson. He won the tournament just hitting the ball as straight as possible. Most of the time. Not all the time. Most of the time. But then you have Jim Furyk, who's not known for hitting the ball very far. I mean, he holds his own, but at that time, like he was kind of in, well, he wasn't really necessarily in the twilight of his years, but he was definitely on the back end of his career. He was an accuracy guy. Shane Lowry has never been known for being a power guy, accuracy guy. Scott Piercy, same thing, accuracy guy. Sergio Garcia, one of the best ball strikers, especially at that time, in the world. Brandon Grace was not a power guy. He was more of an accuracy guy. Same kind of goes with Kevin Na. Jason Day, when he was in his prime, he was a straight ball hitter. Moonball, hits it way up in the air, hits it pretty straight. Jason Duffner, great ball striker. Zach Johnson, short guy, won the Masters, laying up on all the par fives. Accuracy guy. Daniel Summerhays, you might not even recognize that name. His son, Preston Summerhays, I think it's his son. It's either his son or his nephew, is in the U.S. Open. And then you have David Lingmerth. Look at that. David Lingmerth. He is not known as being a power guy. He's an accuracy guy. I think his average driving distance was like 276 on tour. It was down there. So anyways, Brooks Koepka would have been a power guy. Kevin Streelman, accuracy guy. Bryson, at that time, he was a young guy. I don't even know if he was an amateur or not, but that would have been more of an accuracy guy. Andrew Landry, he didn't hit the ball very far. Accuracy guy, and he was leading the event going into Sunday, if I recall. Brendan Steele, ball striker. He did hit the ball decent. Like, he was averaging about 300 yards per drive, but mostly known for just being a really good ball striker. Poor putter, but good ball striker. Don't really remember Gregory Boudreau, or I can't remember how to say his name. Maybe it's Boudry. Yeah, I'm not going to really talk about him. Sung Kang doesn't hit the ball very far. Mark Leishman doesn't hit the ball far, nor does he hit it straight. He's more of a scrambler. Graham McDowell, kind of the same thing. Him and Shane Lowry, kind of the same type of golfer. And Adam Scott. Adam Scott's always been known as a ball striker. So what do we get from that? Well, not a lot of power guys. DJ being one of them, obviously. He won the tournament, power guy. And then you also had Brooks Koepka, who would be a power guy. Bryson was not a power guy in 2016. I really don't see any other power dudes. Like, I think the third longest hitter at that time was Brendan Steele, who's up in, and by that time, I mean inside the top 20 of the 2016 U.S. Open. Oh, and J-Day. J-Day hit the ball far too. And so did Sergio. Sorry, now I'm seeing all the names again. But it's like five guys out of 20 that you would consider power guys. So do I think we want to hone in on accuracy guys this year? Listen, I've done this thing long enough. I understand that one particular stat profile will never, ever translate every single week or every single year at the same event. It just won't. We can take from this that everyone is live. Everybody's live. You do not have to hone in on one golfer versus another, or one type of skill set versus another. If anything, well, here, let's take a look at the 2016. I always keep track of, you know, like recent form and even like tournament history coming into the event. So I have DJ here. He came into this event with a 5th place, a 3rd place, and a 12th place. So he was pretty hot. Look at Jim Furyk. 52nd place, miscut. That's what the 85 represent. 85, 35. These guys right here, poor recent form coming into the event. Shane Lowry did have a 9th place finish from the year before, but it doesn't really matter going really that far into it. We do have a couple winners here. Sergio Garcia won at the Byron Nelson, and you had Jason Day, who had won at the Players' Championship. So we kind of have just a mixed bag of good, like what you see under this column here is good recent form. So J-Day had good recent form. Brooks had good recent form. DJ had good recent form. And in fact, let's go ahead and put some filters on this. If I sort by the best recent form coming in, look at Matt Kuchar. I mean, Matt Kuchar would have been known as an accuracy guy. He didn't miss the cut. Rory coming into this event in 2016 had really good recent form, missed the cut. That's what this 85 represents. And then you had the next three. So, you know, of the top 5 hottest golfers coming into the event, 3 of them finished inside the top 20, 2 of them finished inside the top 10, and 1 of them won the tournament. 2 guys missed the cut, or I should say 1 guy missed the cut. That was Rory. But just looking at everybody here, so if I actually look at how many golfers this is 14 golfers. Out of the 14, 1, 2, 3, 4 missed the cut. So 4 out of 14 missed the cut. Outside of that, if I just add these guys to it as well, 6 out of 14 golfers did not finish inside the top 20. So if I flip that around, that's 8, or I'm sorry, that's not the right math. I said 14, right? Oh, that is right. I'm sorry. I was thinking 16 in my head. 8 out of 14 golfers finished inside the top 20. So coming in with really good recent form might be something to look at, especially those that are more accurate off the tee. You know, Phil Mickelson has never been known for being an accurate golfer. Retief, you know, he was, but Retief also, that was his twilight of his career. Willie McGirt was never long, and he was never straight. So that doesn't quite, he won the Memorial out of nowhere, pretty much, that year. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, why don't we take a look at this year and the recent form coming into the event? So I do have that on my sheet, and we can look. So if I take the top 14, like kind of what we did in 2016, we get down here to Sepp Straka. Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't need to add anybody else. Let's just keep it right here, Sepp Straka. So Scotty Scheffler, Bryson, Jon Rahm. Now here's the more interesting thing. We have live golfers, Bryson, Rahm, Neiman. Those are live golfers. Do we have any more? No, I don't see any more. So those 3, how do we even kind of recognize their recent form coming into this event? Because really all that I have for the recent form is from the PGA Championship. I don't have any of the live golf tour data in here. I imagine most of those guys still would be up there inside the top 14 just because of recent form on live. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really mean anything. You have a limited amount of golfers. Most of these guys just finish inside the top 10, top 20 with their eyes closed. So it's tough to say, but I'm going to count it regardless. I'm going to keep those guys as kind of the top recent form golfers. So the first thing in my head is, which golfers can we just exclude because they're not very straight off of the tee? Quite frankly, most of these guys are straight off the tee. Maybe not Cam Young, and maybe not Harris English. Actually, I shouldn't say maybe not Cam Young. Cam Young is not a straight, he doesn't hit the ball straight off the tee. So definitely him, definitely English, and then maybe Sam Burns. Sam Burns has turned it on though. Like I do like Sam Burns this week, but I'm just not sure if I'm trying to figure out who hits the ball straighter. Maybe it's Tony Finau. You know, I guess if there's names that I would want to exclude from what I just selected from the top 14 that we have here. So that's to Sepp Straka. It was Tony Finau, Harris English, Cam Young, Sam Burns. Maybe it's those 4 golfers that I ignore, and maybe the rest of them, that's who we anchor our lineups around. Or maybe it might be the live golfers, honestly. But I think I said this earlier. If I didn't, we can't really always take what we got from a previous event and apply it directly to this week's event. There's never a 1-for-1. It never compares the same. But if anything, what I want to provide is a little bit more comfort in playing some of these golfers. So if you were questioning some of these golfers, Maybe I was able to give you a bit more confidence. Maybe I was able to give you, a little bit more caution. That's kind of the whole purpose. Is if you were feeling somebody that was at the top here, boom, you lock them in, you play them. If you're kind of worried about some of these guys, especially the ones that I highlight, like Sam Burns, Harris English, Cam Young, Tony Finau, perhaps that gives you enough caution to just stay away. Listen, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what's going to happen, but I like this type of analysis because one of the best things with SweetSpotDFS is the fact that we need to stay away from piling on with golfers. Like, we want to make educated, intelligent decisions. And just from the top 14 or even the top 15, top 20, you don't want to select 6 golfers from here to build your lineups around. You might not even be able to. Some of these are inviting price tags. 7,100 is inviting, 7,400 is inviting, 67 is inviting, so is 65. Heck, anybody in the 7K range or 6K range, that's an inviting price tag to put into your lineups. But I've done this long enough to know that of the guys inside the top 20, you're only going to get a handful. So the top 20 of recent form is what you have on the screen right now. And actually 20 is Chris Goddard down here. So I just want to throw that out there. Obviously in 2016, it looks like recent form was kind of a big deal. I know we're talking about course information, course and tournament information. But I wanted to do that comparison between 2016 and 2025. So I'm not going to continue to go on this. That's basically all I wanted to look at. We'll dig more into this in the Tuesday live stream, but I just wanted to provide a little bit of this for you guys. Let's go ahead and get back to the golf course. So speaking about Oakmont, if you want to see a statistical breakdown, go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Under Fantasy Tools, check out Golf Course Stats. Under Golf Course Stats, I will give you, or what you'll see on the screen, are basically all the stats you would get from the GCSAA.org, which is just an organization that works with the PGA Tour, with all of the associations, well, all of the organizations associated with golf, the USGA, oh man, I can't remember what it's called over in England or over in Europe. It's the Royal and Ancient something, the RNA. We'll just call it the RNA. But basically all of the associations will work with the GCSA. Actually, the RNA does not. I'm so sorry. The RNA does not. Continental US works with the GCSAA. And it's just basically setting up the golf courses on the PGA Tour to just be consistent, essentially add consistency and continuity to the golf courses. So basically the superintendent will basically fill out some kind of form that has all this information on it and send it to the PGA Tour. And that's what you get. So all of the stats you see at SweetSpotDFS.com has been validated with the information you get here. And if you didn't see how you get to that, basically on any of the pages, you just scroll down, find the quick links down here, tournament fact sheets right there. Just drill down on that and it'll bring you to the tournament fact sheets. And then you would just expand the PGA Tour and check on the US Open or click on the US Open. And that gets you to this page. So again, all the stats have been validated there. Now, the added thing that I provide are preferred shot shapes. For me, preferred shot shapes just give golfers a better chance of scoring at a golf course. This week, it's probably going to be avoiding bogey. Now, off of the tee, I don't have a specific shot shape that matters. And in fact, all of this here on the bottom section, this is me mapping out the golf course from a competitive lens, what type of shot shapes are more welcome off the tee and on approach. And basically I have 1 draw and 3 fades. Well, if we went back to that US Open, the 2016 US Open, DJ hit a fade, Furyk hit a draw, Lowry hits a fade, Piercy hits a fade, Garcia hits a fade, Grace hits a fade, I think hit a draw. So here I'll unmark the draws. Na hit a draw, Day hit a draw, Duffner hit a fade, Zach Johnson hit a draw. I can't remember what Daniel Summerhays did. Lingmerth hit a fade, Koepka hit a fade, Streelman, I think, can shape it both directions. DeChambeau hits a draw primarily. Landry hits a fade. Brendan Steele hits a draw. So I've highlighted 10 golfers of the top 17. They were fade golfers. So if you were interested to see what shot shapes matter, go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go under the cheat sheet, drill down on that. You'll get to this page. It still has the Canadian Open information on there. Once I update the Canadian Open and import the US Open, this will change. For the time being, it's going to be the Canadian Open. But you would scroll down to the cheat sheet and click here. Once you click there, it'll open up a new page. And what I have a tab down here called the US Open. Drill down on the US Open. It's not completely filled in yet, but it will be. Again, once the conclusion of the Canadian Open happens, I will put all of this information in here. But let me zoom out. I'm going to hide some of these columns, make it a little easier to look at. And basically what I have for each of the golfers, especially the top golfers, I have their shot shapes in here. I have each of their preferred shot shapes. So if you wanted to come in here and anchor your lineups around some golfers that hit fades over draws, here you go. This is me watching several hours of golf, watching every one of these golfers and just seeing the same type of shot shape they hit. Or it's me listening to the golfers talk about what's most comfortable for them, what type of shot shape's most comfortable for them. That's basically it. It's using my eyeballs and using my earballs to joke, to figure out what shot shapes these guys prefer. So you can go check that out at the cheat sheet, again, available at SweetSpotDFS.com. Now, outside of the shot shapes, I do have turf grass. Turf grass to me is the most important thing when it comes to reviewing the golf course stats. So again, at that cheat sheet, again, go to SweetSpotDFS.com. I have included POA and bent grass. Those two stats those two turf grass stats are going to be the most important stats to look at. Now, the overall POA that I have here in column AA, AB, and AC, that goes back to 2013. Same applies for bent grass here. The columns that have LY POA and LY bent, that just goes back to the last year's US Open. So 365 days. This is what their average finishing position is. So you can use this data however you want. There are filters that you can apply and sort out those filters or sort by those filters to see what golfers are the best at POA and the best at bent. This will go into my model. Again, once the Canadian Open finishes and I can apply all of the data points into the cheat sheet, then I will provide my model ranks and then you guys can take a look at it. But either way, you can still look at this. So now that I went over the golf course, there's really nothing else to talk about with the golf course. There is a renovation update that I do need to make in 2023. Gil Hands came in and renovated it. So this will update with all the other updates that I need to make. But outside of that, that is the golf course. I don't have to talk more about the golf course. 5-inch rough, by the way. It's another thing to mention. And glass-like greens. That's very short. I bet you these are going to be running on a stimp of like 13 or something. The only thing I need to talk about really is just tournament information. You're going to have 156 golfers in the field, and it's going to be is it top 70 in ties? Pretty much, top 70 ties. Now, it is a US Open, so we are going to see a lot of names down here that qualified that you've never even heard of before. Pass on those guys. Not a big deal. Don't even spend 2 minutes or 2 seconds looking at those golfers. Just pass on them. They're not going to do well. And if they do, it's going to be like a top 40. It's not going to be super great. Strength of field's 862. And that's really all I have for you guys. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.